Welcome to the Bearcat Beat on LSPN, where each week we share conversations about everything that makes Sherman ISD athletics so great. I'm your host, Chris Daly. Sherman Bearcat Athletics represent the heart and soul of our community, where champions are made both on the field and in the classroom. Our student athletes embody the Bearcat spirit through dedication, perseverance, and excellence, creating memories and building character that will last a lifetime. Remember, it's better to be a Bearcat. This is just one of the many amazing things that the Booster Club accomplishes throughout the year for all sports. If you're interested in joining the Sherman Athletic Booster Club, or if you want to purchase some merchandise to show your Sherman Bearcat love, you can visit the website at shermanisd.net under the Athletics tab. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bearcat Beat. I'm Chris Daly. I'm joined today by girls basketball coach Mark Kerkhoff. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. Getting a little rest. Season unfortunately ended prior to the postseason for us, but not complaining about getting a little extra sleep.
I love that. So let's talk about it a little bit. When we talked last time, it was at the beginning of the season, and you said that what you saw from the team was going to be a mixture of youth and experience. Did that pan out that way?
I sounded way smarter back then than I thought I was, but yeah, that's we had obviously we talked about that freshman Malia Chapman, and she led us in most statistical categories. But yeah, it was just a matter of getting a lot of girls as playing time that we could put them in. We got put in a lot of game situations that we really hadn't been in before.
Yeah.
And so while the record was a little bit better than what it was the previous couple of years, still lots of learning opportunities for us.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be happy over 2.5 times the number of wins from the previous year. So that's in the right direction.
Yeah, we went back. My assistant coach and I, we went back and looked at previous seasons, and this was only the third time in the past 10 years that the Lady Bearcats have had a double-digit win total. So
nice.
It definitely feels like it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, we'd want more, but we got to appreciate what we were able to do this year, and we'll reflect and look back and try to improve next.
Yeah, and you talked about, because of your Indiana roots, bringing some Hoosier hysteria to the program. How did that work out?
It's a process because, I mean, part of that hysteria is the crowd and the community that's involved with it. And so, we had that just nail-biter of a game at Denison there at the end of the season. And I told Coach McDougall that was probably as close to an Indiana basketball game as I've been in since I've been here, just for the fact that it was back and forth in the fourth quarter, and every foul call was huge, every basket was huge, and it wasn't over until that final buzzer. So we got to experience some moments with it. But we're going to keep building towards that goal.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And that's the kind of stuff that builds the fan base too, when you've got some of those fun games like that.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something we talked about too, is that's going to be one of those games, actually one of those nights, because if you look at both games, both schools, all four teams, we were separated by a total of 3 points on the whole night.
Wow.
So, I mean, we were a 1-point game, and the boys came out on the positive end by 2. So that's going to be one of those nights that's going to be talked about for a long, long time, that both teams just kind of went after each other, and it wasn't over until, like I said, the final buzzer went off. So it definitely helps. We heard some kids talking about it. I've had some kids come up in the hallway and say, hey, that was a great game. And lots of comments from the community about how hard the girls played. Yeah. And those are all positive signs. Obviously, football is king down here, and we will never try to overthrow that throne. But to have the community and high school kids that don't normally maybe watch basketball get a little excited was a positive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. And you'd also talked about having great participation, but you having a varsity, a JV, and a freshman team. How'd the other teams do?
Um, JV, it's just we have some girls that get involved in so many activities, and so it kind of seems like for a stretch there that we had some girls that were off somewhere else. Like one of the cheerleaders, she was down in Disney World where they performed
Yeah.
really well down there. And so, again, lots of just opportunities for girls to step in and get some minutes.
Mhm.
But we definitely saw improvement on an individual level from several girls in the JV, looking bright towards some of those girls. And then the freshman girls, we can say that they played their best game of the year, the last game that we played. So that was a really good thing. They had struggled a little bit this year. Some girls that weren't quite as experienced, but by and far, they definitely had their best game of the year to close out the season. So that was a really positive note to end for them.
Cool. And speaking of end, let's talk about the seniors because it's last season for them. Highlight some of the seniors and what they did.
Yeah, Marissa Kerr, she ended up leading us in 3 points, 3-point made attempts and makes on the year. So that was a big thing. Just to be able to have a knockdown shooter at times. And she hit a really big three at that Denison game to put us back up by 1, I think with less than a minute left. So that was big. Rihanna Hill was a 4-year letter winner for us. She stepped in and had some really big key blocks at some crucial times during some games. Natalie Reed was a move-in from Texoma Christian. I think she was our second leading rebounder on the year, and just did a really good job of stepping in and becoming part of the team and filling some gaps that we needed. And then our fourth senior was Eva Sykes, and I can't say enough about a girl. Talk about a girl that, I don't know how she does all that she does. Her parents must be exhausted from trying to keep up with just her calendar alone. But just the positivity that she brought towards the team. She didn't get to see a whole lot of minutes. But, man, she was always there and positive with her teammates and cheering them on. And then when she did get her time on the court, just to see her teammates return that call and just tell her to shoot the ball and to cheer for her was awesome to see.
Nice. And then let's talk about realignment, reclassification. What does that do for the basketball program?
A lot of familiar faces. So out of this 9-team district, we faced 7 of those teams this year. We played Salina out of district.
Yeah.
But obviously they're going to be with us. So the only new one that we haven't seen is Community. But it's just going to be a lot of familiar faces, which good and bad, because we still got some really tough teams. McKinney North's going to be really solid. Lovejoy's going to be solid. Melissa and Anna are still going to be there. So we know there's a hurdle, but at the same time, like we know what's coming.
Yeah,
we know what that bar is, and that should prove to be a little bit of motivation for us over the off season to know. I mean, hey, we know what we have to do. It's not completely unknown to us.
Nice. And you mentioned off season. What does that look like for the girls? What does that look like for you and the coaching staff?
My varsity assistant, Corey Gilly, he and I have already started plotting and scheming for next year. I think we were 2 days out of season, and we're already kind of plotting and scheming of things we can do. And we're looking at getting the girls in and trying to get a lot of shots up. Defensively, we had the lowest defensive average that the Lady Cats have had in 10 years. I mean, we only gave up 41 points a game.
Wow.
Which is pretty solid. We have to do a better job of putting the ball in the hole. And so that's going to be one of our biggest priorities this summer is getting the girls shooting, and that'll be girls entering 7 through 12. So we're starting to stretch down a little bit lower, and that way we can retool instead of rebuild.
Love it, love it. And finally, Coach, you had mentioned the goal was for the players to be quick and opportunistic. How would you grade them on that?
We had our moments where we definitely got out and raised some teams. I'd say we're probably in that, probably that B to A range. Nice. We took our time. I don't think there was ever a game where I felt like we were out conditioned. Yeah. So that was a positive, and we knew that we had to give people problems as quickly as we could. But man, there are a lot of good girls and a lot of good coaches in our district, and so they made some adjustments. At times, it was difficult for us. So, we had our times. That's something we're going to look to continue to do as the girls have a little bit more experience and know what to look for and how to get into and out of things on the defensive and offensive end. So. Cool. Love it. Love it. Well, Coach Kerkhoff, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me again, and congratulations on that next step up when it comes to this program. Hey, I hope in a very near future that we get to talk about who we're playing in the next week. So I love it. All right. Take care, Coach. I want to thank you for listening to the Bearcat Beat. Each week throughout the school year, you will hear all sorts of great information about all the athletic programs at Sherman ISD. Please do us a favor, like, share, comment, do whatever you can to help us reach more Bearcat fans.
Hey Coach, Lone Star Gridiron has been the leader in Coach's Show podcasts for 20 years, and now you can get your own Coach's Show podcast each week during the season as a fundraiser for your booster club. Yes, booster clubs all over are using these podcasts to help their sports programs. You get to share the stories of your program and your kids to a huge audience and make money. We started with just football, but this year have expanded to make them available for all sports. Call 713-269-4620 to find out the details and get your Coach's Show started.